Democrat Chris Van Hollen, a ranking Democrat on the House Budget Committee. Good morning to you, and thanks for coming back.
Good morning, Bill. Good to be with you.
Does anything move this process forward without the president's involvement?
Well, at the end of the day, you've got to have the White House involved, just like you need both the House and the Senate involved to get things done. The president has made clear that the bill that passed the House some time ago, the House Republican bill, is unacceptable. It would do too much damage to the economy in the immediate term. But you're right, Bill, to resolve this, we need everybody at the table.
Are you satisfied with President Obama's involvement?
Well, I am satisfied, but I do think that between now and the end of the next 3-week period, the White House will have to pick up the pace of its involvement.
Do you think that pace has been quick enough?
Juncture.
Because in your first answer, you said that his involvement's critical, and I understand that. I get it. But if you want to get this resolved and stop putting the Band-Aid on every 7 to 14 days, well, you bring in the big hitter, don't you?
Well, you do. Look, the vice president has been involved. I think that he will step up his participation. I think people will really focus here. Nobody wants to keep this going 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. I mean, that is no way to run a railroad, let alone run a government. And we need to come together now to come up with a plan between now and the end of this fiscal year, end of September, so that we can focus on putting together the budget for 2012 and stop focusing on just this really tiny slice. We're dealing with 12% of the budget. We need to be looking much more broadly.
I think your point's well taken. And just to follow up on that, Senator Marco Rubio, Republican out of Florida, wrote this: if every member of Congress goes home after another Band-Aid's put on, he says every senator and representative should feel ashamed if they have to go home again, look their constituents in the eye, and explain why nothing is being done about our debt crisis. What do you think about that? Is he on point?
Well, there's no doubt that we got to get together and deal with the debt crisis and the deficit crisis, and that's going to require what people have said is an adult conversation rather than this obsession on just 12% of the budget. We need to look more broadly, and we need to look at, frankly, the tax earmarks. The president's bipartisan fiscal commission said that you got to begin looking at some of those tax earmarks. For example, and the president has put this on the table, we wish our Republican colleagues would join him on this issue, when you've got oil company profits going through the roof, there's no reason to be providing a taxpayer windfall to the oil companies. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense at all. So
you want to go ahead and raise taxes? How do you think that would go over the Republican majority in the House?
That's about taking away a special interest benefit for the oil and gas companies that have absolutely no impact on prices. Right now, the oil companies are reaping in big profits. And so the question is this, Bill: why should we cut education? Why should we cut investments in our future and keep off the table these special interest tax earmarks?
Okay,
that makes no sense either. So let's broaden the conversation.
That's the debate that continues. I'm out of time, but we're going to be watching it today to see whether or not we get a Band-Aid or a permanent solution. Chris Van Hollen, thank you, the Democrat out of Maryland, for coming on today. We'll talk again. Allison.
All right, we're also going to be talking about